Hello, everyone, and welcome to Card Subject to Change, the podcast by the fan for the fan. Of course, we are sponsored. We are sponsored by and powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, and colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo. A very special episode here, CZ, episode 200. But that's not why it's special. Of course, it's a milestone for us, but we got bigger things in store for the fans. With me is my co-host. We are the co-champs of the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Championship Network. He is the one. He is the only. He is the wizard, CZ. Wiz. It's episode 200, but there are bigger things in store.
That's very true, and I am so excited. We got to speak with this lovely woman a year ago at the Sandra Lee Memorial Car Show. Thank you, Ricky Lee. Appreciate that. She came on, talked to us for about 10, 15 minutes, and now we get to pick her brain a little bit more because we promised she could come on and talk about her book. I am talking about the original Glow Girl, the one, the only, Jeanne Basone, Hollywood. Jeanne, how are you today?
I'm really good, guys. Yay, we're back on again. This is great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
We're back together, but there's one thing that's different. We got this in hand now.
Right? Before I was just talking about it.
That's
here.
right. How much has your life
Super
changed
excited.
since the book has come out?
Oh boy. Well, first of all, just to have all your words when you first get it, and you're just like, holy mother. Everything that I said is in here. It's just amazing. I gotta pinch myself. I almost wanted to have a little tear there because, again, this took a long time. I mean, and then some. Once I finished it, then I thought, oh my gosh, I forgot about this. What about that? What about that? What about that? I could have made this so much longer. But I looked and I'm like, okay, that could be a part 2. If I ever want to do a part 2, why not? I'll add all of that in. For now, these 400 pages, because it's almost 400, it's done. And what can I ask you guys? Do you like the way it's formatted? I mean, this is self-published. This is not.
Oh, I love how it is. I love how it's broken up the way it is.
Yes,
I really do. And my biggest compliment about this is not a knock, it's a compliment. This is such an easy, engaging read. I had it read in 2 days.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
That's good.
That's really good.
I'm the same. I've had the book sitting here for probably 3 months. And I wanted to read it well before I could, but things just getting pushed aside and pushed in the way. I sat down and I felt when I first started reading it this weekend, I felt like a kid in college getting ready for finals, just cramming for the final exam before we had you on. But like Nick said, it's an easy read. It was wonderful to go through. I loved all your memories in there.
Thank you. That was what I wanted. I did a lot of due diligence. What should I do? I thought, well, I'm going to do it in parts. Part 1's going to be Jeanne growing up. So if you wanted to skip that part, you could go straight to part 2, which was the audition for Glow, and read that. If you weren't interested in that and you want to see what's happening after the fact, that would be part 3. And I just figured it would be easier if someone skipped to what they really wanted, or all of it, So, and also because it's self-published, I didn't want it to look like a self-published book. I wanted it to look like one of the 5 major ones, Random, Hachette, any of those went through there to do it. So I hired someone to do my cover and back cover. And then I knew, I wasn't sure about the cover at first, but because I was having issues with this cover, the back cover, I thought, you know what? I paid for this photo shoot a long time ago. Those are mine. That's mine. So it was a color photo. And I'm like, okay, which I said to my cover designer, I go, I want pink and black, gray tone. And then she came up, I go, let's make sure that the lollipop it was red. You know what I mean? So I love it. It's exactly the colors. Hollywood wore these colors. And she's a brat. She's a heel. So that way you've got your lollipop in hand there. Yeah. I'm very happy with it. I'm going through a couple people that I have in here. I'm going to add that. And that's one thing that's cool about self-publishing. You can go back in if you need to, because it's print on demand. So that's great. So I added a few things. I'm not done with that. And then I have it in Ingram Spark. That's like if you wanted it in your mom and pop shop, or you wanted it over at Barnes and Noble, all you got to do is give this number, the ISBN number, which is on the back, and they can bring that. See the number on the back, guys?
Oh yeah.
That number right there, you could say, hey, do you guys carry this? And you just give them that number. They just look it up and then they'll order it. So that's with a company called Ingram Spark. That means it could go at Hudson into the airport, or like I said, into the mom and pop shops. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. I'm still doing a lot of stuff about it to advertise. There's something called Book Talk, which is like TikTok, but it's Book TOC. And there's some other ways to promote going in and doing a signing in Barnes and Noble, plus all the conventions. You know, I brought this over to WrestleMania when I did WrestleCon, and it went really well there. We had a local convention here that I sold a bunch, and then I've got let's see what's coming up. July 13, 14, I think, or 12, 13 is HorrorCon, which is here. It's a smaller one, but I'm going to bring these there, which is going to be fun. Cauliflower Alley Club. I've got so many people who are coming to Vegas. Are you bringing your books? Absolutely, I'm bringing these books. These will be there, I promise. And then I'm not sure. Oh, The Gathering, which is coming up August 1st and 2nd. I will be there, and these will be there as well. I'll probably mail them over to my promoter beforehand, because these are heavy. Putting these in a bunch of these in a suitcase, forget about it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, they get heavy, but super excited about it. So yeah, I'm glad you guys have your copies.
Absolutely. I can attest after meeting you and interviewing you before and having you here and reading this book, like the thing that stands with me the most about you is like, you're legit. Like you're not fake. Like you are a genuine person, and people can tell that right away, and people know that. And like the fact that you're so genuine, I think, and you put it all in here, and people have known you for years, know that you're genuine, and this just puts the icing on the cake for me, and puts it in book form.
That's really sweet, because
that's
you want your personality to come out. You know what I mean? You want that. And what I tell people too, it's classy. It's not a trashy book by any means. I mean, I have some bullying stuff that really happened that was dear to my heart, but I put that in there, and I was very careful not to mention names. You don't want to hurt people, but you also want to let people know how it is to feel like that it's kind of, I don't know. I mean, we got made fun of when we were kids, and we didn't know that was called bullying. I just think it's so rude when people, I know why they do it. We all know why people do what they do. And it happened to me. And it's just like, it's so unacceptable. It's such a nasty, ugly trait. My parents did not bring me up to be like, did step out of line? Yeah, I got spankings. Let me tell you, I got in a lot of trouble. You saw this stuff. Hey, I'm a rebel. And if you read through this, you know that I was like, I'm doing this. And yes, I did that. Yeah, let me just tell you, I had a great childhood. And then after that, I pushed everything to the limit as much as I could. If there were drugs in school, well, I had to try that. Sorry. it's just a different generation, and I'm not going to lie about it. My parents were not, they did not bring me up to be like that, but just it's what you do when you're young. It happens there. And yes, there's peer pressure, but mine wasn't peer pressure. I thought I got to try this. Everybody else is doing it. Well, I'm going to try it. And I, again, like I
Right.
said, I'm glad today's generation is different, because they are. I think some more kids are a lot different than I was. I'm sneaking out of my house at nighttime. That's terrible. I just wish that the communication with my folks would have been different. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe that's their fault. I was like, nope, they're going to say no. So I might as well just sneak out and do it anyway. Stupid. Stupid.
I like that you bring up your rebel side, because I think one of the best stories from this book is your you and Dominic Mysterio have something common. You guys have done some hard time.
Oh, the true crime one. And you know what? I put that in there last minute because I didn't remember it. And one of my book mentors, and bless his heart, Bob Harris from Vancouver, he said, Jeannie, do you have any true crime? And I kept thinking, stealing a pack of gum is not a crime, right? I like the crime. And then I remembered, I pulled that out, and I am not making any of it up. I changed his name. Okay. I changed the name, but man, Chris, have you ever been on surveillance before? No, probably not. Have you? That you know
Not that I
of?
can remember.
Oh, you would remember, Chris, if you were tagged by cops and FBI. It is the most scariest thing ever. When you've got someone knocking on your door, on your mom and dad's door. Okay, that's worse. I was just happened to be there. Oh, it was so embarrassing. And I was like, oh my God, they told me I'm going to go to jail for each page of this loan that I signed. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to sing like a bird. Yeah, he was into this. Yes, he did. Yeah, so that came out, I put that particular part in last minute, and I'm so glad that I did, because yeah, I am not exaggerating in any manner in that whole situation. I was cool, but Dad was all nervous, and I mean, you wouldn't think my dad was nervous. He was cool, but it was so uncomfortable, you
Yeah.
know. It was uncomfortable to have your parents think, yeah, she's doing it again or whatever, you know. Yeah.
So you mentioned adding that story on in the last minute. I kind of want to hear about the process that you went through from start to finish getting this book written and put out there.
The process is just one. You know what I do? I remembered a lot, and thank goodness that I remembered a lot of it, because so when Glow headed, I had notes written down right after the show ended, and I'm glad that I did, because not that I didn't remember things, but sometimes you don't remember the time, the date, the airline, you guys, those specific details. So I had to go back to that, which is like, oh, good, that's great. Being grown up as a kid, I did call mom and dad on occasion, or when I went over to visit. How did what year was that, Dad? What year was that, Mom? And blah, 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 blah. And especially like, I forgot when I was just over there for Father's Day, we were talking about Ancestry.com, and I saw mine and I looked at it. So I'm going to change a couple of things in there. Like 47% of me is Italy, Southern Italy. And then there's Ireland on my mom's side. And then there's indigenous peoples, Mexico, on there as well, and that was like 8%. So I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. Yeah. Have you guys ever done that? The DNA test?
I've never done that.
Yeah, you might not want to if you're a bad guy. You may not want to give them your DNA in case you've done something.
What are you saying, Hollywood? What are you saying?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
We all know he's the
joined by
troublemaker
Hollywood
of the
here.
group. So
I am the
sorry.
troublemaker of us two. I am. We're joined
So
by.
that's why you related with some of my stuff. I mean, when they said,
That's right. Absolutely.
were you
I could.
partying? Were you partying? Well, I never turned down blah, blah, blah. I didn't. Okay, I'll do it.
Right.
Now, my sisters, let me just tell you, my sisters who are younger were opposite of me. They're very good kids. The oldest, learning the hard way, which I always did. But, you know, as I got older, I changed. I'm like, okay, I've done that. Less drinking. You can't look or still wrestle when you are doing bad stuff. I don't smoke. You know, I never really did. You know, kids in school were smoking pot. Yes, I tried it for a while. I loved it. I listened to Led Zeppelin as much as I could. Smoking, you know, out in the backyard when mom and dad were gone. The guy next door had pot plants. I'm like, woo! I didn't know anything about, I'm thinking that you can get high off the leaf. Didn't know anything about buds, that's what you were supposed to be taking. I mean, you know, just stupid things. And then the bands playing next door when I was a kid. That was my love for live music immediately. Just sitting up there and watching a band that I thought was the Rolling Stones, which were not. They were doing covers. I didn't know what covers were. So I'm thinking, oh, that's the Rolling Stones. Wow.
Right.
But that was my love for that, you know. And then sports, coming into sports with Glow. My dad was the coach for me and my sisters when we were playing softball, and in school I lettered in softball. I played volleyball, so I did. And then of course lots of boys on my street, so rather playing with my sisters, I needed more competition. So you're going to play with the boys. They play harder, smarter, and they also became my best friends during that time until I got into 7th grade, when I went, whoa, wait a minute, I like boys. So Chucky, we can't play anymore. See ya. Bye. Poor Chucky. He was my best friend. I think he was a year younger. Oh, poor. You know, what a sweetheart. It was kind of fun going camping with his family, to the beach. My childhood was just, I loved it. It was great. We were just middle class family, by the way. So we're not going to Disneyland like these kids get to go all the time, or going to Hawaii or traveling. I'm like, I didn't get to do that stuff. We were in the family station wagon and we went to, you know, the Grand Canyon and Carlsbad Caverns, and went to see where Kennedy, Daly Plaza, where Kennedy was shot. You know, those things, that was our trip, you know, visiting relatives along the way and then hitting those places. So the childhood that I had was just, it was lovely. I couldn't change that again. The only thing really that I would like to have changed is more communication. I think parents, you have to have more communication about, you know, what if instead of me sneaking out, would they have liked, they would have hated if something happened to me. What if I just said, hey, I know I'm supposed to be in at 12, but can we do 1 o'clock? If I would have done later, I wouldn't have been sneaking out. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Communication is so important, especially now with kids. So I would say to kids, open up. It's okay. What are they going to do? Say no? That's right. They just would have said no, but maybe they would also, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it at the moment, but, you know, both of you coming to terms that, yeah, let's compromise. Yes, they would have compromised with you. See, I always need help with some of those. Yes. And I wish I would have had that more compromise.
We are chatting with Hollywood, Jeanne Basone. We are chatting about Hooray for Hollywood. It is available wherever you can find your book.
On my Etsy site or Amazon.
That's right. What was the most difficult part about writing this book?
Getting the words right together. I had help too. I had an editor. I can also say that you should not have more than 2 people helping edit, because that was a nightmare. So I'm editing on my Mac computer and somebody else is editing on a Dell computer. Those don't communicate right. They don't, because I'm looking in here and I'm like, wait a second, that word is supposed to be spelled that way. So they're spelling words, and no disrespect, but I'm like, oh, and then glow. Everything that you see in there, if you see GLOW, I have it italicized and I have it in capitals, uppercase. So I had to go through that. That to me was the hardest part than writing it. I had everything down. What was most easier, what was better is talking into this sometimes and talking into that instead of like, and then I also had help from Dan Murphy. And I love Dan Murphy. He's up in New York. And Dan and I worked through this with live videos back and forth. So he'd ask me questions and then he'd write we had it all recorded down, and that helped a lot as well. So that process always helps, especially when one other person, they're my words that were somebody who knows how to put those words together. And I did say, yes, you guys, don't give me $10 words. I want words that are easy for everybody, that they can just go through it and read it. And I had a friend who also was writing a book the same time I was. We went to school together, and hers had nothing to do with wrestling. I read hers, you guys, and I don't read that fast, but it's about her life, and it was easy to read, and I got through it really quickly. And hers was about 300 pages. So there are times where I don't like to read a lot, but when I'm interested in that person, if I'm interested in their story, it goes by quicker. And I'm busy too, like you guys. Sometimes I've been on a flight, I'm on it up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And at 6 a.m., once I get on my flight, I'm like, I just want to close my eyes. I got a gig. I got to look good for. I need some rest. So it is hard to read. So I understand, Chris, when it's difficult, when other things come up, you have family, you have other things going on. I get it.
So we talked about, and I appreciate that. It's hard to sometimes sit down. Like,
It is.
for me, when I read, I'm usually, I'll be honest, I'm reading on my phone. I've got a Kindle app. For the most part, and I'll have the lights turned off. I'll be in bed laying down. I'll just read for maybe 10, 15 minutes before I go to sleep.
That's the best way to do it. You know what I started doing, you guys? Okay, so if you have issues reading the way I do and paying attention, I would watch, like, right around 6:30 or 7:30. I like to turn off all of our electronic stuff. I want to watch some of my Netflix, whatever. I want to watch some of my series that I'm watching. And even if it's not, maybe it's a basketball game with someone, but once a commercial comes on, then the commercial comes and then I start reading, and I can do that just as well.
Yeah.
Commercial, I start again. Like if there's a commercial, you can sit there and read 3 minutes, put it down, 3 minutes, put it, I'm serious. That's how I got through the book of my friend's book. So you could do that with this just as easy, for sure.
What has been your favorite part about the experience of writing this book and putting it out to your fans?
Having my fans come back with reviews. That is my favorite part. That just makes me feel like what you guys just said. Did it in 2 days, got it done, and someone who can relate to it. I relate to you growing up and all the stuff that you went through, because I went through that. So to me, hearing the reviews from everybody is precious. I love that. Then I know I've done what I wanted to do. I got across what needed to get across. And there are a lot of ups and downs. And also what I got out of this, when I started to go through it again, to reread it, you guys, looking at spelling, and you'd never want to repeat anything. That's also, but going through it and going, ooh, losing something or someone or a pet or a family member, you just go back down into that feeling again. It's so like it happened for the first time. It's so weird. I don't know if you guys do that.
Right.
But you'll get to a point where you just like, ooh, okay, let's go back to a happier part over here. Yeah. Yeah. Or that first time going to Disneyland that you remember. Those are fun stuff. My first audition, getting into Glow, being nervous, but being young and being fearless. That's what you are. You are learning something for the first time, especially when you're young. You're fearless. Oh, yeah, I got this. Oh, ram your head into the turnbuckle. Who can do that? I can. I also had sense up here, too, to know when someone says, can you or who, your arm raises immediately. You give not 100%. You give all you got. You give 110, and you can't, you know, even if you still need to learn, just like I did. I'd never been in front of a camera or on TV, talking in front of a camera or in front of a live audience like that. That's super scary. And you overcome that. You just do it. And then the character, Hollywood. I mean, we may have said this before, being the heel. What is the heel? What does the heel do? Who is Hollywood, you guys? What, she picks pockets, really? Well, can she do something else?
Hey. There are worse gimmicks. I mean, you could have been walking around with a toilet plunger.
Those girls were funny. Yeah, I could have. Those were the Heavy Metal Sisters playing the housewives. They were so talented. They knew that they really couldn't wrestle their backs, but they also together as a team were doing comedy sketches, and they just went up to the producers and said, hey, can we add this instead? This would be our gimmick. It's better for us. They said, yes, let's do it. And that's how they got their gig playing the housewives without doing a lot of wrestling. They were so funny.
What is the one thing that Hollywood today would go back and tell Hollywood during that Glow period?
Gosh, that's a hard one. You know what? Hollywood today would have said to Hollywood back then. Now, this is just, it's not really a lesson, but what I wanted to do is direct our shows. Okay, that is be behind the scenes. Hello, what was not going on in my brain to direct our show? Some of them I would have loved to have Matt Simber be behind the camera helping me direct. That, I always think, take it to another level, you guys, because we're all going to be older, and I still wrestle. I'm careful, but I'm 60, 62. So I know people will wrestle.
I still don't believe that.
But I am, and it's a good thing. And I will tell you this. I work out, like we talked earlier, and I try to eat well sometimes. I do like my Captain Crunch cereals and all that crap, but I do it in moderation. But you don't want to be, landing and, God forbid, break a hip or something. So people will say, Hollywood, how long do you plan on doing this? I'm going to keep doing it until my body says I can't do it. And your body doesn't lie. Yes. Do I have in my shoulders? Yes. Does my lower back? You just stretch, do some yoga. But I love what I do, and I've been doing it for so long. So going back, this Hollywood would say to the other Hollywood, I wish I would have had an agent and went into acting. I had so many people saying, you need to do this. And I would do it. I was just so, for 4 years that long, I needed just a break. I wanted to be a regular 20-year-old. I didn't want someone saying, you got to be home at this time, just like how my parents told me I had to be home because we have a show. You're not supposed to have guys in your room. I mean, just you wanted freedom and you didn't have a lot of freedom. So there was a lot of controlling. I wish, again, now, I was very lucky because season 3 and 4, I did get to leave for a little while. We would finish filming on Saturday evenings. I'd take a flight home and come back on Wednesday. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, prepare for the show, do the show Saturday live. And we didn't just do one match. I was in 4 or 5. So then trying to concentrate. So what I'm saying, doing those 4 seasons, I wasn't ready to go on to the next level of something else. I just wanted to just be a normal a normal young lady and go see the bands, have a boyfriend, just do what you do. Life, enjoy your life.
Speaking of Hollywood, we're about half hour in. I know you have limited time with us.
I have a night. We've got some more time if you've got some time.
Which we have a little more, but I want to ask you. You have your hands in so many different ventures right now. I want you to tell our listeners, our viewers, where or what everything you have to offer and where we can find your different ventures out there.
I love that. So if you guys are interested in this book, and you can find that really at my Etsy site. If you want it autographed, that's just saying Etsy. If you go to the Etsy site, which is, it's Hollywood Glow or Hollywood Glow, you guys can find it. You can just autograph it there. You can also get it at Amazon. Amazon, simple, easy. They'll get it to you in a couple of days. I have soap, by the way. My soap company is called NashvilleBotanica.com. Here's one of them. I love this one. This is my lavender, which is great. Lavender bud. What is this? Oh, black raspberry vanilla. That smells amazing as well. I have all different ones, but that I have an Instagram for that, and that's Hollywood Botanica with a K. And if you're interested in following me at Instagram, it's official Glow Hollywood. What else do I have? I have X, which is Glow Hollywood. And then if you guys are Facebook people, I'm on Facebook too. But you have to find me by putting in my last name because the other ones are gone. So there's either Hollywood. I have a Hollywood page, just regular Hollywood page on Facebook, and my last name, Basone, first name, Jeannie, middle name, Marie. That's how you'll find me on Facebook.
What you mentioned, making soap. What drew you to that? I'm just curious how that started.
Yeah, you know what? This is before COVID, so it wasn't wash your hands, everybody. This was about 2018, and I really love products that don't have a lot of crap in them, preservatives. And so I was looking at some soap around Christmas time, and I'm picking up the soap at this kiosk in the mall. I'm smelling it. I'm looking at it. I looked at the ingredients. I'm like, I could do this. So I figured, let's look at YouTube videos. Let's get a book. Let's look at all this stuff first and see first if I can do it. So it takes, not everybody, they say, oh, everyone could make soap. So can you make it where you can sell it okay for everybody? Because you got to put chemicals together. All right. This is organic coconut oil and olive oil. You need distilled water and sodium hydroxide to make. You got to put all those liquids, because they're all liquids, together. They have to be a certain temperature within 10 degrees of each other. Kind of, the consistency is kind of like cake batter. It is. Pour it in, you're adding your essential oils, and then you have soap, which, and I just thought that's kind of cool. And at first I was just making it for myself, making it for my family members. Then I started giving them away for gifts as well. And people were like, this is cool. You should sell it. And then I decided to do that. And then the Nashville International Airport has my soap inside there called Nashville Jam Session. I was there on Friday doing a little TV show called Ticket to Success. They were interviewing people for their TV show that have products or own a store in an airport. And that was pretty fun. And I'll let you guys know when that comes out. But
Yeah,
and
definitely.
plus, they're going to have my book in that store. That's amazing. I've been blessed, you guys. I really have. You know, I'm very. I think if you treat people the way you want to be treated, it always comes back to you. It does. No one's perfect. I'm not perfect. Hell no. But we live and learn from mistakes and then hopefully do better after we've learned from those mistakes.
And that comes across so well, not only in your book, but in speaking with you the couple times that Nick and I have had to share with you.
Thanks.
So thank you. This has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
I'm glad that you guys had me again, Nick and Chris. You guys are A-okay in my book all the time.
Well, I remember when we met you,
Yeah.
I'm working on a book, but it's not out
Right.
yet. And I'm like, when it comes out, we're going to have you
Yeah.
on. And you're like, oh,
And you
okay,
did.
okay. And here it is. So it's, yep.
I'm very humbled
It's so cool.
and grateful to do the podcast for not just you, for everybody. So, this is just, you guys help me. You get my stuff out on the air and promo it for free. It's truly, I'm truly grateful. So thank you.
And we are grateful for you. Thank you as well so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. You guys are the best.
And when book 2 comes out, when that second part comes out,
is
let
there
us know.
a second?
Yeah, what's the next thing for Hollywood?
Is the second book coming?
Woo-hoo, maybe book number 2, something. Yeah, I'm always thinking, got to rebrand yourself. That's a whole nother thing. What you want to continue in this rebrand, do something else. The conventions I love, so I will keep going to those conventions. I love meeting you guys. I love meeting our fans. That's the biggest high right there, because without them, you and I wouldn't have this podcast going on right now.
Very true. Very true.
And it's perfect you say that, because we kind of pride ourselves. We're like, we're the podcast for the fan, by the fan. We're just a couple of fans that love wrestling and wrestling adjacent stuff. And we got to meet you through mutual friend, Ricky Lee, that put on
his show. Yeah.
Assembly Memorial Card Show. And what a blessing that was to meet you.
Thank you.
And that day.
Yep.
And what a blessing that you came back after putting the book out. And the book is a lot of fun.
Thank you.
I love reading biographies, because I always love reading other people's journeys, other people's lives. And it's well written, it's easy to read. And I think if you're out there and you want a book to read, I can't my summer reads list right here. Hooray for Hollywood.
Awesome.
Take it to the beach, take it to the pool, take it to the deck.
You guys are awesome.
I don't care, but it's
Thank you. Yeah, and everything in there is, I'm not
bullshitting.
bullshitting. There's no exaggerations. You get what you get.
Absolutely.
And that's what, absolutely.
Jeannie, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you so very much for your time.
All right, Chris. Thank you. Nick, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. You guys have a good day.
You as well. Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you, Hollywood.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
And that is going to wrap things up for us here at Card Subject to Change. What an amazing 200th episode, Nick.
Yeah, that really went by fast. And you see how down to earth she is. And she's genuine. She's as genuine as they come. And that's when I tell people, who have you been most blown away by that you met? And she's easily in the conversation, because she's genuine, she's endearing, and she actually she cares. She has a conversation. She does. And she's right. And the fans, they're very thankful for the fans. And it shows. She takes time for fans. Took time for a couple guys that have a podcast that's celebrating their 200th episode. So that means a lot to us. So thanks again to Hollywood. That's Jeanne Basone, very interactive on social media. She's always putting stuff out. So, make sure to follow her and grab the book once again if you get a chance. Hooray.
Very good read. We both recommend it. And I hope we can, I loved sitting down and hearing about her process and writing the book. I hope we can do that with more people. I know there are plenty of books out there for wrestlers across the universe. So I better get busy on booking, right?
Better get busy booking, man. Yeah. Wow.
Well,
we're 200 in. I guess I don't know what the next milestone is, but whatever it is, we're glad that you're here with us. Like, follow, share, subscribe. Any way you can get a hold of us, follow us on socials. We're both very interactive. This is our long form show, our short form show midweek. The Kick Out airs at 6:00. Make sure you tune into that. We delve into a little more discussions that we didn't cover on the show. But I think that about wraps it up. We tore open the presents, we took off the bow, and we crossed the threshold of episode 200, partner.
The only other thing that I will mention, since we're promoting stuff, is it is the final Wednesday of the month this week. So be sure to join me and Zach Takis over on the Wrestling with Fitness page for our 5th episode. We will be joined by the Golden God, Bryce Jordan, talking wrestling and fitness. I'm excited about that. And then we'll be back here next Sunday for another edition of Card Subject to Change. So,
absolutely looking forward to it, partner.
Absolutely. This is going to be, we're 200 in. They've been great episodes, and they're only going to get better from here on out. Here's to the next 200. For my tag team partner, Mr. Never Wrong Nick Bull, I am the Wizard CZ. This has been another edition of Card Subject to Change, and we will see you right here next Sunday for the next episode.
This has been a For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network production. For more great content, subscribe to For Frequency's Sake on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.